The Hidden Blade is one of the most recognizable and iconic weapons in the history of video games, and it's intrinsic to any assassin's arsenal of weapons. The blade was initially utilized by the Hidden Ones after Bayek was gifted the blade from his wife Aya, who, as she clearly states here, was gifted it herself by Cleopatra.
Cleopatra? She's been declared a criminal.
By her treacherous brother, yes. She plans to take back the throne. She wants this snake dead as much as we do. And she trusts me. She gave me this to slit his throat.
However, the Hidden Blade's first use dates centuries before the creation of the Hidden Ones, when Darius, a Greek freedom fighter, used the blade in the assassination of Xerxes in 465 BCE. The original blade sat on top of the user's forearm, allowing for discreet ignition and retraction, and Darius would bring the weapon with him in his travels to Egypt. It's unclear how it would then fall into Cleopatra's possession. However, after making its way into Bayek's hands, he would mistakenly use it on the underside of his wrist, causing his ring finger to be cut off. Instead of adjusting the weapon and, using it properly, Bayek would instead make this removal of the ring finger an induction ritual in the Order of the Hidden Ones, as a way of the wielder of the blade showing their faith and dedication to both the weapon and to the Brotherhood. When Eivor Varin's daughter was gifted a hidden blade by Basim ibn Ishaq in the 9th century AD, however, she decided against the sacrifice, instead wearing the blade as was initially intended, and she would use the weapon in her conquest of England. The blade would see very little advancement in its design for its first millennia of use, until Altair ibn La'ahad, inspired by the wisdom shown to him from the Apple of Eden, constructed many redesigns and upgrades to the blade, including a modification that allowed the user to block incoming attacks, the utilization of double hidden blades, a poison blade, and a firearm hidden within the bracer of the blade. I'd also like to clear a massive misunderstanding that I've seen all too prevalent in the AC community. Altair would also modify the blade to allow for it to be worn on the underside of the wrist so that the wielder could keep their ring finger. Now, the last time I pointed this out, I got at least 1,000 comments telling me that Leonardo da Vinci made this modification, and the people that said that clearly just didn't play Assassin's Creed 2. Leonardo, with the help of codex pages left behind by Altair, made many of these modifications and alterations to Ezio's blade in the 15th century. However, Giovanni Auditore, Ezio's father, had already deciphered the codex page in his possession at the start of Assassin's Creed 2, and had already modified his own hidden blade. Leonardo did not change the blade so that Ezio could keep his ring finger. Altair did, and we know this because Giovanni, who used the blade before Ezio, still had his ring finger. So please, just stop saying this. It gets on my nerves way too much. And if you're going to try and tell me that I got Assassin's Creed lore wrong, make sure you've actually played the games. Anyway, moving on from that rant, the greatest evolution the blade would see after Altair's modifications would come with the creation of the hook blade in Eastern Europe, a device made up of two parts, the hook and the blade.
The standard Ottoman hook blade has two parts, you see. The hook and the blade. So you can use one or the other. An elegant design.
Not only could the hook blade be used to improve an assassin's agility whilst running across rooftops, but it could also be used to escape combat via the hook and run. The 16th and 17th century would also see new advancements to the blade outside of Europe, with the Chinese assassins incorporating a foot blade as used by Xiao Jun, and a trident blade used by the Indian assassins. However, many of these advancements never became common practice amongst the global brotherhood. By this point, the right to wield double hidden blades would be reserved for the rank of Master Assassin. However, Edward Kenway would acquire multiple blades from the Templar Julian de Cass, who collected the weapon from assassins he would beat in combat across the West Indies. Edward's grandson Connor would be given a fully contractable hidden dagger from the leader of the colonial brotherhood, Achilles Davenport, but again this less discreet blade would fall out of fashion, as the post-Enlightenment era would see the brotherhood return to tradition, with most assassins wielding a single blade. In France, this single blade would be counteracted with a phantom blade, a retractable crossbow-like device that could be used to silently eliminate enemies from afar, as a means to counteract the increasing capabilities of firearms, especially during the Revolutionary War. Meanwhile, in London, Jacob and Evie Fry, with the help of the renowned inventor Alexander Graham Bell, would attach a rope launcher to the hidden blade's bracer, allowing for more practical traversal of London streets in their fight against Crawford Starrick. By this point, however, not only had double hidden blades become a rare commodity, but the weapon on a whole would become far less used by the Brotherhood, becoming more of a ceremonial item that would be granted to high-ranking assassins. The weapon itself was becoming increasingly less practical in combat, however it was still used by certain certain sects of the Brotherhood in East Asia. The implementation of an explosive device into the weapon's bracer, as well as a charged electric blade, were the only advancements to the weapon across the 20th and 21st century, and the iconic weapon would become somewhat of a relic of a time past. However, that is not to say that this iconic weapon won't see major upgrades when Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out. However, considering that Mirage is supposed to be a return to the roots of the franchise, and the fact that Basim had a single hidden blade in Valhalla, I don't see Mirage taking too many risks with the iconic weapon. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe with post notifications turned on. And with that being said, I've been Joe, aka Founder Scarab, and I will see you in the next one.